And we're off for loop 2 and 3 of the Hundreds MC National Hare and Hound down in Johnson Valley. We just did loop 1, pitted, got gas and some food. And now we're going to be off for loops 2 and 3. Loop 2 is 35 miles, and then loop 3 will be 25 miles. I feel pretty good at this point. Loop 1 was 40, and we held back a little bit to trying to reserve some energy for these second and third loops. I think it paid off, so I feel good, and the pits definitely help. The start of loop 2 is just this open wash section, and really another high speed area. This Hare and Hound just has some super high speed washes in it where you're just seeing how fast you can go. It's how comfortable you are going that fast in the desert. And really it's not the going fast that makes you nervous. It's knowing there could be a little berm or a little wash or just a little rut somewhere. It's gonna ruin your day. That's what you're worried about going that fast. But the bike handles fine. It does when you get really fast. The handlebars start wagging a little bit, but you just kind of hold on a little tighter and pray you're not running into a rock or rut or hitting a berm that the bike's gonna buck your butt off the bike. In the rut section, so you see where everyone's going, it starts forming this little kind of deep rut, and it's very powdery, and if you get just lean to the left or the right, it starts grabbing your tire and making you kind of lose your balance a little bit. So you gotta be careful in the rut. If you can pop out of it, you lose that feeling and it feels a lot better. So sometimes you gotta just force yourself to pop outside the main line so you get a nice cleaner ride. And loop 2 is supposed to be a harder section. How the Hare and Hounds work. Loop 1 is the fast lap or fast loop, and then loop 2 they try to throw in a little bit harder terrain, which they did. They throw in some nice little rocky single track here. No big hills like at Spangler. They have a lot of hills that are just taking people out left and right. Here did have some technical rock sections, but nothing that was too difficult taking people out. I think people just pulled over because they're exhausted. The other big difference on loop 2 and 3 is the amount of riders out here. There's just not as many people doing the second and third loop. There was 50 riders only doing loop 1, so they're out of this second half of the race. And then of the 200 riders that were doing all 3 loops, there was 45 DNFs. So there's 45 people, I don't know, various points that they pulled out of the race or didn't finish. So it's just, you're out here and you just not as nearly as many riders. So dust. Now, dust for me is a factor because I'm behind case, but the dust just isn't a problem like it is in loop 1. So the riding's a little bit cleaner. It is more technical, but it's just a nice, enjoyable ride other than the fatigue starts setting in. And this is where we held back loop 1 so that the fatigue wasn't as bad in loop 2 and 3. I think loop 2 got to case a little bit, and then he was able to pull it together for loop 3, finish it out. Still a lot of whoops though. I mean, there's more technical terrain, but don't think you're getting out of the whoops or the dips. The dips plus the whoops just kill you, and the fatigue is setting in. You know, your thighs and your lower back just really tired.
right.
Nerd MCs, they, even Loop 2 and 3, they still had a ton of volunteers out there. Yeah, good job for that. It's nice seeing those volunteers out there, and they cheer you on too. So it gives you a little morale boost, because out here you start doubting your will to keep racing. Them cheering you on is kind of nice. Case back there, he thought he was going to take an inside line, and it ended up being the slow line, because sometimes it would be a hard right, and this was just a little slight right, and he chose poorly. They say there's tortoises out here. Now, I've never seen one. And even when I was in the Marine Corps, I'd be stationed out here, and all the travel around we did on the desert, I never saw a tortoise or a live one. We did find a shell of a tortoise, and just the bones, but never a live tortoise. So one's still yet to be seen. knocking down some bushes out here. Must have took that turn a little wide. The trail is just a little bit more narrow than Loop 1, so it's easy to overshoot a turn here. Just letting Case get back up ahead of me. There's a guy behind us, and I get off, and I kind of trying to veer back on, and he comes up fast. I almost run into him. I had to eat the bush to avoid colliding with him. My bad, fella. Sorry that happened. Ooh, a little rocky there, a little chunky there at the top. Get over that, no problem. No mistakes. Till later on, there's a couple small little hill climbs, and I told Case, just don't make mistakes. Don't want to be that guy that kicks out and has to go back down the hill and then try it again, or be stuck there trying to push your bike up the hill. So no mistakes in the technical sections, saves a ton of energy. There's a big dip. That suspension just bottomed out there. This guy would bomb through the desert, and then it'd get to the little climb area, we'd catch up to him. One part about the Hare and Hounds I really love is just you can pick different lines. You don't have to be right behind the guy. You can pop out to the left, pop out to the right. You can bob and weave through the desert brush if you want, or you can just get back onto the main line. You got to keep an eye on the ribbons though, because you can get lost really easy. But that is just nice having a variation of where you can go. Now the rule is you're supposed to be 50 feet from the ribbon line, and that's hard to do sometimes, especially when you get a lot. Like in the Loop 1, we were like a quarter mile off the main line. Just not our faults. It's our mistake of missing the turn. But passing people, I think they're saying you're not supposed to really cut. If there's a hill, you're not supposed to cut around the left side of the hill. If you're supposed to go around the right side of the hill, that kind of thing. like these little sandy washes. It's just my balance. Maybe it's just how my throttle control isn't the best. It seems like it's just a little slippery for me. I like the just more gravelly stuff. Like that sand just gets to me. Gonna let that rider get around me. Him and Case are gonna battle a while, and they'll get up through the rock section. You'll see, it's just hilarious how he's a sit-down rider, and he's going through the rocks, and he's just off balance the whole time. And, the whole time I'm like, oh, he needs to stand up. His balance would be way better, but you'll see. Popping out here a little bit. Just trying to get up there to see him racing. You see that guy? The guy has his legs out left and right because he's off balance. And I'm like, oh, just stand up. You'd do a lot better. Case is making it hard for him though. Case isn't letting him pass. He's got to earn his way around. I'm like, oh, he's gonna go down, but he doesn't. He saves it. It's just like doing the dog leg. He's got his leg out the whole time. And Case was just taking a rest. Need to stretch out his hands. And there was I'd say this is probably the hardest hill climb of the whole entire race right here. It's just a little bit loose and chunky. So taking a break here, not a bad idea to get a nice clean run up this. You don't want to make a mistake here and have to do it again. A couple big rocks to look out for, but as long as you stay on the gas, keep your balance, no problem getting up there. Then we're going to turn left, head back down into the valley, and there's going to be another checkpoint to get to. But right around in here, I noticed my front end started feeling different. I started feeling the rocks a lot more. I started feeling harsh. And I started thinking, oh, I'm getting a flat tire. Because it just felt like every rock that I'd go over, I'd feel it through the handlebars. It was like a sharp jolt. And I was like, oh man, I'm getting a flat tire. I'm looking down. So I gotta pull over just to verify it's a flat and not something different. Sure enough, front tire's flat. Now I run tubeless, so even with the flat tire, the tire won't get off the bead. It stays on there, but yeah, it's flat. It does have that inner tube that adds a little bit of cushion left. So I'm like, well, I got another. I'm like halfway. And I don't want to stop. It's too far to go back and fix it, so I just got to finish this loop here. Hold back a little bit, go a little bit slower so that I'm not just slamming the rim onto the rocks. I don't want to damage the rim. Rims are expensive. It's just a tire that's bad, so at this point I'm going to slow down. It kind of sucks. I'm like, alright, my pace is definitely going to be slower now. I could carry a little inflator kit, which I didn't. Usually I do. When I trail ride by myself, I have my little tire inflator, CO2 cartridges, and I didn't bring that on the race. In the race, I just kind of empty all the weight out. I just want the water. That's all I need. I'm gonna have to rethink that though, because having this flat tire the next 20 miles was a pain in the butt. here, I was checking the both tires. Before I checked the front, I was just making sure the rear wasn't flat as well. The rear is still fine. So I'm just gonna hold back, and still gonna do all right though. I'm actually gonna catch all these guys, even with the front flat tire. And Case was wore out, and I'll end up catching Case again, getting ahead of him, and then my plan was to, all right, get back as soon as I can, swap out a new front tire, and then get back to it. Hopefully then Case is caught up, or I'll have to catch him on loop 3. So that's what's going to happen. Man, just had these large rolling whoops, which the flat tire felt okay on this kind of sandy, gravelly stuff. It's hard to notice I had a front tire. It's when you get into the chunky rock section where I had some sharp edges on the rocks. Here, these little fist-sized rocks are just banging away at the front end. You really feel it through the handlebars. I thought I'd heard someone coming behind me, so I pulled over and let them pass, but no one ever came. I was just hearing things out there. The fatigue getting to me. I'm hearing stuff. The flat tire, I can't tell you, it makes it a little tricky getting up these rocky sections here. It's making that front tire bounce a little bit more than I was wanting. Alright, coming into some rocky sections here. This is the good stuff. It's what you were waiting for the whole time for loop 2. Get these hard rocky sections. The whole time I was like, tire, keep it together. I didn't want my tire to fall apart here. I gotta make it back. I've never not finished a race. Even the hard enduro, I was still able to finish the 1 lap. So I have a good record. Keep it. Ooh, it's a whole different ride with a flat tire. I'll say enough. I'm done with the flat tire talk. It is what it is. I'm sure a ton of other people had flat tires too, and they managed. So if they could do it, I can do it. Hard to make passes in this tight section here. There was a couple guys that got around us, and I mean, you can't go around, so you got to have the confidence to know, or just time it right so you get a section where you can, go left or right around people. But it's a little tricky, that's for sure. Feels like we're just on a nice trail ride with your buddies for the weekend at this point. Kind of the race feel. You're still pushing, but now you're kind of just in line. You're waiting your turn to get through the obstacle. And really it's a game of no mistakes. So if the guy in front of you makes a mistake, he's going to fall over and you'll get around him. So just no mistakes, do a clean run, and don't waste any energy. I pulled over to let that guy get around me. There you go. You're welcome.
You still can't hear me, huh?
I hate getting past though. I wish my tire was good, because I know I could go way faster in this section. These guys wouldn't have got me. But it is what it is. We'll get them next time. Back into a little wash here. That guy almost wiped out. These little sandy washes, if you're on the gas too much, it just spins your bike right around. Gotta be a little smooth on the throttle. Bam! Hit that rim. See, I'm all squirrely there. That sand just is making me slide all around, all over the place. It's like a slip and slide. Now, whenever you're doing a hill climb or a little hard section, you don't want to be the guy that causes a bottleneck. Well, Case is going to be that guy right here. So he's coming in this slight little hill. It was rocky. The guy coming in hot on the left, the guy right behind him, he slows down, and the two guys didn't have to struggle. You don't want to be that guy. Sometimes you are though. You can't help it. Virginia City, the beginning, that first hill climb, Virginia City, it takes people out left and right, and you got to time it right. So maybe you got to slow up so that you can see who's gonna fall and who's not gonna fall, and then you can blast up it. I had a guy just dump his bike right in front of me, like halfway up the hill, and then you got to you got to struggle to get your momentum going again. And it's not steep enough where you had to make another run, but it just throws your whole game off. Case is starting to get a little tired at this point. It's running a little slower, and when you get ride tired, you just start to do a little mistakes here and there, and it just makes you ride that much harder. You start it starts compounding on itself. You make a little mistake here, you get kicked out, and then you're just struggling that much more. So it gets off the course right there, just loses the line. Gets out a little bit. I'm gonna pop over here. I think there's a guy right behind us. Oh, there he goes.
My front tire is flat. That's why I'm going so slow.
Starting to get a little gassed. Flat tire, just
tire inflator either.
The struggle's real, folks. The struggle is real. start making little mistakes, your confidence goes down a little bit. And it's also compounds. You got your fatigue setting in, you're making more mistakes, your confidence is going down, creating more mistakes, and it sets you in like a little funk. And I think all riders get it. They get the rider's funk, where you're just like, oh man, it's not working out for me. And you really gotta reset yourself. Get over that. Have a either good section where you don't fall at all, or sometimes they're just a flat. Section gives you time to rest, or just pull over, take a couple minute break, and sometimes that helps out. I remember in my hard enduro, man, there were some sections that I was so fatigued and just trying to work and trying to push my way through the obstacle, and it was just making it worse. So I'd stop, take like a minute rest, and then I could hit the obstacle a lot better. And you got to do the same thing here, I think. Nice seeing way out here. They still have a lot of volunteers at any dangerous road cross sections, preventing. There's other just people out here for the weekend, joyriding around in their side by sides or whatever, and they could be blasting through these roads and stuff. So it's nice having these volunteers here, making sure that the race is going to be safe for everyone. It'd be terrible to have just the people out for the weekend don't know there's a race going on, and then it ruins everything. All right, here's a checkpoint. Here's that reset you need. For some reason, the checkpoint, get through, you're like, all right, let's get back on it again, I think that helped Case out a little bit right here. Here's a guy coming. I'm going to let him get around. I know this little sand wash section is going to really be a struggle with me and my tire.
Let that guy pass. I'm just trying to make it home.
But coming up, this rider behind Case doesn't wait for him. This is steeper than the camera shows, but there's a little hill climb here, and he hits a rock and gets kicked out and just shoots out to the right. Yeah, that's a risk you take when you do a hill climb and you don't wait to pick your line out, you don't wait for the dust to settle. You can't see the obstacles, and the rock got him. So all that work he did to make the passes, now he's got to do it all over again. Coming up here, Case is gonna dump the bike, and that's just fatigue there. He just couldn't hold that line, and y'all know you're like just putting your leg out can be exhausting. Anyways, he's gonna rest, reset his body, and head on, finish loop 2. I go ahead of him now, and I'm like, all right, I gotta make up some ground and get ahead as far as I can. That way I can change out my tire in the pits and hit loop 3, and hopefully I'll be matched up with him. So I take off, and even with the flat, I'm kind of going for it, and I'm like, all right, it's a risk, because if I go too fast, I can damage the rim, and then when I swap out the tire, I run tubeless, and the bead won't sit right, and then I won't be able to air up the tire. So I was thinking I was going just fast enough where the rim's going to be all right. And there was a lot of sand sections, so that helped out. And I was trying to avoid any sharp rock. All the sharp rocks that I could avoid, I was trying to do that. It took forever to get back. Loop 2 felt longer than Loop 1. Loop 1, I think because you're just going so fast, it just feels like the course is flying by. Loop 2, it feels like it just takes forever. It took forever to get back. Case isn't the only one that's taking a breather. There's riders all throughout the course, off their bikes, sitting in the shade like this guy here, just taking a little breather, gonna reset his mind, reset his body before he gets back on and starts heading down the track. Down this little wash here, the trail goes up the other side, and it's pretty steep, steeper than the camera shows. And you just give a little gas, carry your momentum all the way up, no problem. This part of the course is really chunky. This is probably the chunkiest part. It's the most rocks and boulders to go over. There's some guys there taking a little breather. They gave me the thumbs up. I love all this stuff. I like riding like this chunky rock trail. It makes it fun. There's the obstacles. You're not going fast. It's the terrain that makes it hard. There's a guy waving over to the right, maybe. He was like saying to come towards him. I'm guessing that's what he was doing. I had no idea where I was at this point. I kept thinking we'd get over a little ridge here and I'd see like the trailers or see that dry lake that we did at the start line dry lake. And I was totally like disoriented because there's going so many switchbacks and loops and U-turns. I had no idea which way the trailers were. And I was trying to look at the mountain ranges in the distance, seeing if I recognize them, and I'm like, I have no idea. Like if my bike were to break down right now, I mean, I have my phone on me, but I had no idea where I was. Alright, done with those rocks. I love the rocks, but my rim was not liking those rocks. I need to get back into the soft sand washes, which I don't like the sandy washes, but it felt a lot better on my hands because the handlebars were just like bang, 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 hitting those rocks. And now it feels smooth. Right here, you can't even hardly tell I have a flat tire. So I was going all right. I was even getting up to pretty good speed here. Now I run tubeless tire setup. I really like it. You don't, the moose system. The mooses are expensive. You got to go through tires plus mooses. know, so you're paying a little bit more, especially if you're really hard on them, racing them, or if you're putting holes in the mooses where they don't last very long. The tubeless, you're just going through tires, you're not buying new tubes. The tubeless, actually, inner tube lasts forever, and so you're just buying the outer shell, the tire itself. And even on a flat, you still have pretty good control over the bike and be able to continue your ride or race. So I like it. Now, I do have some mooses that I will use on a hard enduro, so I'll change it out for that style of race. Alright, on to loop 3. Got 25 miles, pretty fast riding here. A couple little tech sections, but overall it was not a hard loop, just a real fast-paced loop. And I have a new fresh tire on. It took me about 20 minutes in the pits. Changed my tire. I wasn't ready. I didn't have all my tire changing stuff ready. I need to be better prepped next time for a flat tire change. Either that or just have buy an extra rim and have it ready to go just to swap it out. But here we are on the loop 3. It was by far my fastest riding. Really just slamming over some whoops and trying to catch Case. He's ahead of me now and about 10 minutes ahead of me. So we'll see if we can catch him. Let's go. Now GoPro does an awesome job at image stabilization. But trust me, my bike is bouncing all over my head, my cheeks. I like those dog race, where they show the dog race in slow motion, his cheeks going up and down. I'm sure that's what my face is doing right now. 'Cause we're booking. Wish I could have checked the speed. Wish my app, I track my trails, but it doesn't show you like what speed you're going at what mile, at what point in time. It'd be cool if it did that. Use Onyx off-road trail map. It does pretty good. It shows me all the trail riding I do. The thing they need to add is a little speed indicator. It'd be just to know. It'd be fun to know how fast you're going at what point in time. Overshot the turn there. I had to come back and get on the ribbon. Guess I'm gonna start calling it the ribbon line. The ribbon line is the main line. It's easier to. I heard someone else say ribbon line. It makes sense to me. It's just easier to tell people I was on the ribbon line. There's what line we were taking, left, right. I was on the ribbon line, the main line. Loop 3 was a really fast loop. I thought it'd be harder. I thought it'd progressively get harder, like loop 1, loop 2, loop 3. But loop 2 was a hard loop, and then loop 3, it was like loop 1. It had a lot of super fast, just wash sections. You could just bomb it. Take the outside, pass. Right on, Georgie, good job. I felt like I was going fast. I wonder how it looks, If I can stay on the ribbon line, George. You gotta stay on that ribbon line. Don't get lost. There's no one to follow out here. You get lost out here, you're gonna lose a lot of time trying to find the course again. But I was going fast. I wonder what it looks like if you're. I feel fast, but do I look like I'm going fast? Maybe not. Maybe it looks like I'm just going slow. That was a rough little section there. Just kind of goosed it. Kind of just got over the rocks real quick. Oh, these little wash sections. They are my kryptonite. Look at how squirrely I am. Can't get my balance at all. Keep it together, man. Keep it together. Come on.
Yeah, Trixie.
Woohoo! Just flying through here. Wish I was doing this the whole race. I would have been a contender. Starting to see some dust up ahead of me. Alright, maybe that's going to be Case or somebody. And then the course turned. Like, where'd the dust go? Looked like I was catching someone, then the dust just disappeared. Alright, there they are. Coming up. Take it wide on the swoop. Don't go through the flags. And here, watch this. Bam! Oh, there it is. That was the bad one. My feet and everything came flying off the bike. I was just holding down on the handlebars. Oh, it's coming in hot. Luckily, that wasn't a big crash, because that was bad. All right, making the pass on the inside. Oh, course is coming left. Can't make that turn. Boom, boom. Blasting through the bushes. Smashing. That's probably why I get so many flat tires. I don't mowing down bushes the whole time. Make my tires go flat. Alright, coming into another checkpoint. Right here. Look at this guy's wearing a cowboy hat. I've always wanted to wear a cowboy hat on my helmet and just glue it to the top of my helmet. I think it'd be awesome. I'm going to have to try that. One race, I'm going to glue my cowboy hat, just a straw one, to the top of the helmet and see if I can get away with it. I think it'd be hilarious. I'd be the only one with a cowboy hat on my helmet. I have to try it out. Alright, well, this is going to end the video here. And loop 1, I lost all my batteries, so I didn't have extra batteries to finish off loop 3. But came in 137th overall and then 12th in my class. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in 2 weeks at the Los Coyotes. Till then, get out and ride and get some. Yew!